Hey guys, so I just came back from watching The Lion King on the cinema and it was amazing. It was really cool to see a movie that you saw when you were a kid and now it looked like it was real because the special effects were on point, like they were really good. So if you ever want to see that movie, you should do it in the cinema. Anyway, I asked you guys I received a bunch of questions, so I thought we should have a Q&A. So I asked you in a previous video to send me questions, and I got a whole bunch of questions. And I'm gonna hurry up now because the boys went to the store. So I said, can you just stay away for like 20 minutes so I can do this? Maybe I should turn off the AC. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because it's really loud. Where do I do that? That's where I do that. So yeah, I told them to stay away for a while because I don't want to do this in front of them. So I kicked them out. So anyway, I got a bunch of questions. And I'm gonna try and answer some now. I might answer some tomorrow because I don't know how long they're gonna be gone. But anyway, thank you for the questions. It's fun to see what you want to know. So I'm gonna start with some questions. First one is from Karen Joy. She says, I'd love to hear the story of how you joined up with the boys. Love your post. Thank you. Well, me, Chad, and Randy, we actually started on the same day. I started really early because I was staying with Scout and Frodo. So I was at the monument like 7 in the morning. They came to the monument, I think around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So we started on the same day. I didn't see them until Sisters Crossing, which is after Julian. I actually saw a video that Randy took at Sister Crossing, and I saw myself, so I know I saw them at Sister Crossing. I just don't remember seeing them. But after that, we just started to walk past each other all the time. Like they took a break, so I walked past them, then I took a break and they walked past me, and we did that for a while. Then when I got to Mike's place, that's when I actually like really met them. We started to talk, but then after that we did the whole thing again. You know, past each other. We were leapfrogging or frog leaping, one of them. And when, I don't remember what the place is called, but when you get to Idlewild, you can either go from Paradise Cafe, you can go into Idlewild, or you can continue and walk over a ridge, like Fuller Ridge maybe? I don't know. I did that, and then I was planning on doing San Jacinto Peak before I went into Idlewild, but that day it was raining and it was windy and it was cold, and I passed the guys and they said, hey, you want to take a break with us? I'm like, oh, I really have to go, but all right, I'll stay for a minute or two. And they convinced me to go down into Idlewild with them, and we ended up staying in the cabin with like 12 other people. And then I just I left with them. We did San Jacinto, and since then I'm stuck with them, which I'm thankful for. So that's how we met. I got a bunch of questions from Emma Sanders. So she's wondering what's my age, and in October I will be 34. I don't feel like I'm 34, but apparently I'm 34. my occupation. I work for a company called Atea. They have, I don't know if you call it consultants. I think they are like IT consultants. So I work with IT, and I'm working for a company that they're called Statistiska centralbyrån, and they take out a lot of statistics for all kinds of stuff. And I work at their help desk, like their IT help desk, so I work with computers. What made you choose the PCT over more popular trails like the AT? I chose the PCT because it's more open. Like the AT is more, it's the AT is covered in trees basically, and I don't want that. Like, I want to see the views, I want to see the big mountains, the deep valleys, like I want to see all that. So the PCT felt more like me. And also the AT, you have all the shelters. Like every 8 miles or so there's a big shelter where people hang out, and there's a lot of party, I think. And I didn't want to do that. Like, I'd rather do the PCT, put up my tent wherever I want it. And do you think you will complete your through hike within 6 months? If not, will you consider a visa extension? I will walk for 6 months, that's for sure. I am gonna make it to Canada. I did the calculations, and I should make it to Canada. But it will not be a complete through hike because we skipped some miles because we took our sweet time. And yeah, I don't know, I get comments that I think you're lazy. I mean, compared to other through hikers, maybe we're lazy, but we still walk every day. We enjoyed our walk. Maybe a bit too much, but I don't care. So we skipped from Sonora Pass to Carson Pass, and then from Sierra City to Sayet Valley. Because we ran out of time. If we wouldn't have done that, we would have had to walk 26 miles a day for 60 days. And I don't want to do that. I don't think I can do that. So it will not be a through hike, but I will be hiking for 6 months. If things would be different, I would try to get a visa extension. I'm not going to do it now because my baby sister is pregnant, and the baby's due in the middle of October, so I gotta get home. I want to see that baby. If not, I would definitely try and stay here longer and finish the hike because I love this life. On average, how much money have you spent per month? Was it less or more than you expected? I honestly don't really know how much I spent. I'm guessing it's, I really don't know. So far, maybe I spent like four and a half, like, oh wait, I gotta do dollars now. Like $400 to, no, $4,000 to $4,500 maybe. But I'm not sure. If it was less or more than I expected, I always read that you should expect to spend around $1,000 per month. I don't remember if that's included the gear. I actually haven't thought about how much I'm, like, of course I think about how much I spent, but I haven't, before I went out on a trail, I thought that I would try and skip the trails, the towns as much as possible, not take any zeros, but that didn't happen. I'm just like, I can afford to enjoy the trail, like in a normal way, you know. I don't stay at luxury hotels. I also don't stay at hostels because I want my own room. So I don't know. Maybe I can try and figure it out when I get home how much I actually spent. Outside of the mosquitoes, what has been your biggest challenge on the PCT so far? Honestly, I don't like being cold, and I've had some really cold days with the PCT, but I don't mind those days. I'm gonna have to say that the biggest challenge on the PCT have been the stress, the pressure to finish in time, to do the miles, to always compare yourself to everyone else. I think that's my biggest challenge, because it's so easy to feel like you have to do this many miles in that amount of time, and you should do this peak or you should do that, and it's so easy to get caught up in that stress and that you have to do this thinking. So I'm gonna have to go with that. That has been and is my biggest challenge of PCT so far. Everything else I can deal with it. Are you happy with the gear that you picked for your hike? I think I am, except for I started out with Solomon shoes, and I read everywhere that when you while you're hiking, your feet will grow like one size, 1.5 size. So I actually bought shoes that were too big because I figured my feet would grow, but they didn't. They still haven't. So I ended up getting a lot of blisters, and like twisting my ankle a whole lot because my shoes were too big. It took me until until Cahoon Junction, where you have the McDonald's challenge. That's where I bought my new shoes, and it helped a lot. So I would say, if you're gonna get shoes, don't buy shoes that are too big. Wait and see if your feet will actually grow. Also, I'm gonna say my backpack I like it, but when I tried on the guy's backpack, they have an Osprey, it feels more like you have more support because they have the frame. So it feels like your backpack is hugging you. Whilst I feel when I pack, if I have, like when I leave a town, when I have a full resupply and I have to stuff everything in my backpack, like I can feel everything in my back pushing into it. So maybe try another backpack, but otherwise I'm pretty happy. I like it. Hiking is not all unicorn and rainbow, so what do you like least about the PCT so far? I'm gonna say the same. The stress. The people are expecting you to do things. So yeah, hike your own hike. Really important thing. Don't forget that it's your adventure, it's your hike. Do what feels best for you. I think those are all the questions from Emma. So I got a question from Siyuku_UK. Sorry if I butchered your name. As an international hiker, how did you find it getting your visa for America? Have you felt any time pressure with being limited to 6 months? Honestly, the visa, first I had to go to a web page. I don't remember which one, but it's released into Google, and I had to fill out a form. This was the biggest challenge because I had 20 minutes to fill out the form. There were a whole lot of questions that I couldn't, like, no way I could have answered all those questions in 20 minutes. But I got like halfway. I ran out of time, so I did it again. But then the things I already filled in were like, what do you call it? Autofill. That's why I could do it in 20 minutes. Otherwise, no chance. They just wanted to know my occupation, my last 5 addresses, name and address of my parents, and all these questions like, have you ever thought about being a world leader that wants to mass murder people? You know, like those questions. That was the biggest challenge. After that, I had to book an appointment with the US Embassy in Stockholm, go for an interview. But basically all they asked was, what are you going to do in the US? Do you have a job? Do you want to come back? Yeah. So that was really easy. Getting a visa was not hard. Have you felt pressure with being limited to 6 months? Yes, I have. I wouldn't mind staying here like 6 months more. Hike for 6 more months. I wouldn't mind that at all. What made you start walking the boys, and are you guys getting stronger and ready for the 25 to 30 mile days? Well, I already told you about the boys, how that ended up. Are we getting stronger and ready for 25 to 30 mile days? Well, the elevation is definitely better in Oregon. It's not like this. It's more like this. So that's easier. So we are doing, or we have to do a minimum of 20 mile days now. The storms interrupted our plan these last 2 days, but we're still on schedule. If we can, we're going to try and do more than 20 miles, 30 miles. I don't know. Like, I'm hurting. Like it feels like there's always something hurting. And I've had ever since I got my ultras. I've had problem with my knee, heel. This part, the tendon here, that's been a problem like since day 1 with my ultras. And when I do longer days, I definitely feel it, and it hurts a lot sometimes. And walking downhill, my knees complains a lot. So I don't know if I can do 30 mile days, but I can definitely do 20 up to 25 mile days. So like I said, our goal is to do a minimum of 20 mile days, but hopefully more than that. My body just won't work with me sometimes. Specs World asks, how does one afford to do a through hike when you have a job, car, house, and bills to go with it? Well, I saved a lot of money. Back in Stockholm, I live with my best friend. We share an apartment, so our rent is pretty cheap. And I don't have a car. I don't have a house, I have an apartment, my bills, my cell phone, my what do you call it, my contract, my abonnement. I paused it, so I don't pay for that. I only have my American number now. I don't really have much bills. I have my phone, rent, and also I'm not paying rent while I'm here because I cleaned out my room, and I said to my roommate that if you want to rent out my room while I'm gone, go ahead. So I don't really have a lot of stuff to pay. My insurance is already paid. I paused my phone contract. I don't pay rent. I don't have a car. Geeky Girl Adventures ask, could you imagine hiking with a marmot? God, yes. I would love to hike with a marmot. They are the cutest animals. Like when I saw the YouTube videos from hikers before me, and I saw the marmots, like there was one of my highlights when I got to Sierras to see the marmots, because they're goofballs, they're clowns, and they're everywhere, and they're like, they don't care about you, and I don't know, they're awesome. I would definitely hike with a marmot, definitely. So I started with these Q&A questions, and I wasn't really happy with the answers on all of them, so I might do a question here and there and just edit it and make it into video. We'll see. I don't know. But we're at Fish Lake Resort now. The boys are going to the store, so I figured I'll do some questions now. So this is one of the harder ones. That's why I wasn't happy with the answer, because I didn't really know what to say. But Lenny Hikes are asking about my social anxiety. She says, has being so close to Chad and Randy helped you? You seem to be so much happier and relaxed. And it definitely has. Because like I said before I went on this trip, one of my biggest fears was to be in meeting new people and being a huge crowd and feeling like I have to be social. And I still have that. But when I'm with Chad and Randy, it's a lot easier because they talk about everything and nothing, and like I don't know what they get they get it all from, because they can charm anyone. Like when we were camping at the shelter, just when we got into Oregon, the 3 or the 4 rangers that were there, like they were laughing at everything, like laughing really hard about everything they said, and it just made everything a whole lot easier because then I can just tag along. So yeah, it helped. I still have moments when everything feels like shit. For example, Sister Crossing was a big challenge for me, and also we had one at I remember at San Jacinto. I left the cabin up at the top because it was too many people, and now when we got to Walker Pass, I think there was this big Trail Angel party, and there was like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 people there, hikers. And as soon as we walked down the trail and I saw the people, like I froze, and I was like, shit, I have to socialize with these people. But we just went to all the tents, we had some drinks, then we went into the city to do some shopping. When we came back, there was this huge, they had like a bonfire, and they were just hanging out, drinking beer. But I stayed in my tent because I couldn't go there. It was too much. So I stayed in my tent. I felt shitty and I cried a bit, and because it all surprised me. Like if I'm prepared, it's a whole lot easier. like when we were at the shelter, just when we got into Oregon, we were like the first people at the shelter. So I knew where things were. The rangers had a bag we could put our trash in, so I knew that when new people came, I could say that, like, I could start a conversation with like, well guys, you made it, you made it, come here by the fire, warm up. If you got trash, you can leave it in the bag, and that helps a lot. So if I'm like the first on the scene, I feel a lot more comfortable, because then I have time to get to know everyone and I can be like a part of it from the beginning. If I'm just thrown into it, I freeze. And it's really hard. But yeah, the guys helped me a lot, so I'm really thankful that I have my boys. But also, I've got to say that if you have social anxiety, don't be afraid to do something like this, because everyone has something in common. Like, everyone is doing the trail, so you always have something to talk about, and almost everyone is just lovely. So don't be afraid, just do it, you know? Also, a lot of you have been asking about my English, saying that I speak very good English, and thank you for that. So I'm from Sweden, and in Sweden, when you're in school, you have to learn English from a very young age. I'm not sure from what age, but it's at least like 6 or 7 years at least that is mandatory. And then if you continue school after that, it's mostly for like 3 or 4 years. And then English is also mandatory. So we have to learn English, and it's always been easy for me with the English language. And also, I guess I watched a lot of TV. I read English books. I've also lived abroad for a couple of years. I lived in Belgium. I lived in Ireland, Germany. I've also been traveling a lot, and for a short period of time I was in Sydney, studying at a college. So I guess that helped me a lot. And then, of course, being out here speaking English all the time, it helps you a lot. It just becomes natural. And someone asked me, who was that? My name is EE. Asked me, well, why I know English so well, and what made me choose to do my videos in English and not Swedish. Well, because I watched a lot of videos before I got here, just to see, like, of course, gear videos, like what kind of gear should I use, but also just videos of normal life, like what to expect, how the trail looks like, what your day is going to be like. And I'm hoping that maybe some future hikers will look at my videos and just see what it's like, I guess. But also because I have lived abroad, so I have friends that doesn't speak Swedish, and it would be nice if they saw what I did. So that's why I do it in English and not in Swedish. This is a question about food. Manuel asks, I know you're a vegetarian, but out here in nature, have you ever had an urge to become a cave woman for like 30 minutes? Cooking a fish and eat it. Have you seen any eagles sweep in and catch a fish in the trail lakes? Well, no. I've never felt like I want to be a cave woman again. Like, at home I'm a vegan. Out here I'm a vegetarian because I can't afford to be a vegan out here. If I would be that, I would have to send myself packages and all the time, and I don't have time or the money for it. So I'm a vegetarian out here. But I can't wait to be back home, because Even though a pizza with real cheese on it is good, I'd rather have no pizza or a vegan pizza because it just feels better. It feels better for my soul and it feels better for my body. Have we seen any eagles? We haven't seen any eagles swoop in and grab a fish, but we've definitely seen eagles. When we were going up Elizabeth Lake Pass, we actually saw a bald eagle flying around, and that was really cool. So we've seen a fair amount of big birds, but no live action. Here's a question from Steve Arco, and he asks, what movies do you like? Well, my all-time favorite movie is actually a trilogy, and it's The Matrix. I love The Matrix. First one is, of course, the best. Second one is good, and the third one is better than the second one. But yeah, Matrix, it's the best. I don't know how many times I've seen it, but it's the best. The boys, I'm not sure what movies they like. I'm gonna ask when they come back, but I'm pretty sure they're into goofy movies, but I'll ask them when they come back. But for me, Matrix, all the time. Well, guys, I got a question for you.
I got an answer.
Awesome. What's your favorite movie?
Forrest Gump.
I never have a favorite movie.
Forrest Gump is my favorite movie.
What's your favorite line?
There's so many. I don't know.
You say lines from Forrest Gump all the time.
Yeah. Sorry for ruining your Panther party.
I can't believe you picked that one. Of all the line.
That's my favorite one. Life is like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're gonna get.
You never do, dude. My favorite movie?
I love you, Jenny.
I really like Inception. Inception is such a good movie.
I may not be a smart man, Jenny, but I do know what love is.
So Forrest Gump and Inception?
Didn't Forrest Gump say, wasn't that movie where he was like, get to the chopper? No, get to the chopper was not Forrest Gump.
No.
That was Arnold.
Yeah. Anyway.
Why are you asking that?
Because my viewers are asking.
Oh, they're gonna get me going now.
Forrest Gump, ladies and gentlemen. You show peace.
That's all I have to say about the war in Vietnam.
He said, ice cream. Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
The best thing about getting shot in the buttocks
Don't
is
you
you
like
get
Forrest
all
Gump?
the ice cream you can eat.
That's what
And
we
scene.
I've never seen that movie, actually.
And cut. Oh, you haven't? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, another day, another location. This time I'm in my tent. I'm gonna finish the last of the questions now. So yeah, first one from Manuel Festoli. He's asking, so with this many miles on trail, does every pack have the same stuff in it? Or do you see a variety of things hikers carry? How important was your earlier videos from Stockholm about getting the correct lightweight piece of gear? And was camping in your apartment a good test? I would say in the beginning of the trail you could see a lot of different things, but now I think everyone have the same things because they got rid of all those things that you didn't need, because there's a lot of things that you don't need. So basically everyone has like an air mattress, sleeping bag, clothes to hiking, spare set of clothes, change of clothes, a pot to cook your food in, like that's what you have. And of course you have the electronic stuff, you have chargers, battery pack. Very few people have cameras now, and that's about it. Like, you don't need a lot more than that. So yeah, now everyone has kind of the same. My earlier videos about getting the right gear weight thing, was it? The correct lightweight piece of gear. I mean, I'm not lightweight. Some people are very lightweight. When I see their backpack compared to mine, we met this other guy a couple of days ago. His backpack was, it was like a day pack. Plus, he had a little guitar in it. So I don't know what's in it. But you learn when you're out on trail what you need and don't need. And I like my tent because I don't want a freestanding tent. I want my tent to have tent sticks because I don't want to depend on my trekking poles. And I also want to be, I want to be able to have some private time in my tent. Like I want to be able to hide away. You know what I mean? I like that it feels like a little room. And I like my sleeping bag. I like to stay warm. And so I'm happy with my equipment. It would be nice to be lightweight, but I don't think I want to sacrifice what I have now. What was the last thing? Oh, was camping in my apartment good test? No, it was not. When I was camping in my living room, it was not very comfortable. I was a bit worried about sleeping on this air mattress because it was loud and it's a bit shorter than I am, and it's just I didn't think it was comfortable. Now I love my tent. Like, yeah, I love my tent. I love sleeping on this. So if you have the possibility, please go outside in the wilderness and try it before. For a couple of days, not just one night. That's my advice. Try it out for real. If you don't have that possibility, it works out anyway. It worked out for me. Love my tent. Lenny Hikes has a question. I'd like to know if the difference in where you're from was ever important, or do you find it funny? What's it like to be around two guys all the time, neither of whom is your romantic partner? Well, the difference from, well, I'm from Sweden, and I think because that's the thing about Swedish people, we like to stay neutral and everything. We don't like to fight, and if we think someone is a jerk, we don't say it to their faces. Which might be what Americans do, I'm not sure. But with the boys, they can fight over the most stupid things. And if let's say we meet someone on trail and they say something that could be offensive, they'll be like, why did you say that? What was that for? And I'd be like, whatever, dude, just let it go. So I think that could be a Swedish thing. I'm more calm than they are, and I don't get upset over small things. I think that's the biggest difference. That's also why I like to say that I'm the husband in this, because normally it's the women who fight over things and are dramatic, but here it's them. I'm the calm one in the background that tells them to just chill, breathe. What's it like to be around two guys all the time, neither of whom is your romantic partner? Well, we are as dirty as one can be. We stink. Plus, they are two guys, so, and they're best friends, so they don't mind farting all the time, burping, and I just don't see why I would be interested in them, you know? Like, I love them as friends, but I don't need more than that. And we get along really good. And they take care of me. Like right now, they're away getting water. I slowly handed them my water bladder and said, "Can you refill mine? I'm pretty tired." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So they take care of me. But yeah, it's not a problem. Not at all. I think I have answered all the questions now, actually. Yeah. And if you have more questions, then just feel free to comment below or send me a message on Instagram and maybe I'll do another one. Now I have to take my what? Completely lost the word. Wet wipe. I switched around. Wet wipe. My wet wipe shower because of these. So I hope you like this video. It's my first Q&A, so I'm not really sure how to do it. And it turned out to be a long one. So yeah, hit me up with more questions if you have it, and I'll try and answer it. But for now, bye.